Oh, you just pressed play on This Week with Drunk Astrology. My name is Graham Breitenstein. I'm your astrologer and the creator of Drunk Astrology. If you're looking for someone to make astrology make sense to you and for you, well, my friend, you have come to the right place. Here on this podcast, we discuss the weekly cosmic weather. And when we break it down, we break it down. I believe that astrology can be used as a tool to inform your daily decisions and enhance your day-to-day life. So if you're ready to have a hell of a lot of fun with astrology, make some strategic decisions, and to just keep it real, well, that journey starts right now. And I can see you years from now in a bar, talking over a football game with that same big loud opinion, but nobody's listening, washed up and ranting about the same old bitter things. Drunk and groaning on about how I can't sing. But all you are is mean. All you are is mean, and a liar, and pathetic, and alone in life, and mean, and mean, and mean, and mean. But someday I'll be singing this on my podcast, and all you're ever gonna be is mean. Yeah, someday I'll be living in a big old city, and all you're ever gonna be is mean. Why you gotta be so mean? Why do they gotta be so mean, astro lovers? I don't know. We might not ever know, but that's okay. That's on them. It's not on us. Welcome to the podcast for the week of July 17th through the 23rd, 2023. I'm going to let you know right now, the overall vibe this week is insanity. And it's peppered with some meanness and frustrations and some energetic reversals, going backwards, having to look back, pause, reflect, and figure out where you're meant to go. There are so many major aspects. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5 majors. And that's like, we've got a Cancer new moon this week. We have the nodes of fate, which only change signs every 18, 19 months. They're changing signs on the same day. So now we're setting the global consciousness for a completely different vibe than we've had the last year and a half. No biggie. Then we jump towards the weekend. We've got Venus retrograde. We've got the sun entering Leo. And we have on the Sunday, the 23rd, Chiron, our wounded healer, stationing retrograde. This is a lot of potent, dominant energy. So with a week like this week, I am going to highly encourage you to just take a friggin' beat. Those are just the majors. There's other aspects that are influencing this insanity as well. And so I am going to do my best to cover everything and give it its due justice as I can. But just know this is a week where you really want to be on the cosmic news train. You're really going to want to be on that newsletter. And there's a link in the show notes for it because I'm going to be sending you notes about each one of these shifts individually to let you know what your sun, moon, and rising sign will experience while these influences are taking place. Because the Cancer new moon invites tenderness, but then the Aries Libra nodes, which is a shift that happens on the same day as the new moon, which is Monday, the 17th, has us going more bold and brazen. And the energy is completely different. Like the new moon says, invite warmth and tenderness. Aries Libra nodes are like separate but together. So Aries North Node wants to trailblaze, wants to be bold and fearless, where Cancer is more like, I just want to be at home. So what do you do with that? Jumping to Venus retrograde. Now, that's something that only happens every 18 months. And when she goes backwards, it's a 40-day adventure. And, retrogrades, we know the vibe, but now it's Venus involved. So love, money, desire, attraction, pleasure, all of these principles are up for review. And yes, with the Venus retrograde, the X brigade is likely to come a-knockin'. Okay, now when I say exes, I kind of use that as a blanket term. Venus is, of course, the ruler of relationships. So yes, she can bring back old love stories. Sometimes it's more internal. And as this is a Venus retrograde, it is likely going to be both, right? Where you're thinking of someone or thinking of a dynamic, or they come back. The ghosts of relationships past, failed heart adventures, journey back and say, oh, hey, how's it going? And it's up to you to decide whether or not you participate or not. Or just say, I forgot I didn't block your ass. Blocked. That's totally up to you. But exes is also just a blanket term for people from your past, people that you cared about, lost friendships, lost family dynamics. All those things can come zooming back when you got Venus retrograde. So we're going to talk about that. Now, on the same day as Venus retrograde, which is happening in the sign of Leo, the sun enters Leo. So Cancers, it's your last week to shine. Not really, but as a joke. It's your last week of your season, and then Leos are ushering in the summer fun, the summer heat, the summer spontaneity, the joy, the adventure, all of that vibe. But at the same time, that Venus retrograde and the sun traveling through the same sign, just your reflections get amplified. Old relationships, that's why I use the word zooming. They just zoom into focus. And then, you see what I mean? There's a lot to talk about this week. And then, Sunday the 23rd, Chiron, our comet of soul wounds and our journey towards healing, stations retrograde. And I've blanketed this as wounds to wisdom. And it's a period of time from July 23rd to December 27th this year. So the rest of this year, pretty much, to really reflect on your wound stories, to really allow yourself, whether through self-reflection, self-exploration, or whether it's through support, whether that's a reading, a Reiki session, massage, acupuncture, pressure, therapy, counseling, whatever modality calls to you, it is an invitation to unlock your wound story. And sometimes that comes through external influence. Other times you just feel more like it's calling to you, right? It's a whisper that you might have tried to ignore, and then the retrograde like this comes around and it brings it all back up again. So it's an invitation to get to the genesis of the story so that you understand why you make certain decisions, the motivations behind them, especially if you're someone that tends towards self-sabotage or negative repeated patterns of behavior that maybe you can acknowledge, but you don't go past that. If you're somewhere right there and you keep experiencing, whether it's through relationships or just your relationship to self, how you talk to yourself in the mirror, how you feel about yourself, what about your confidence and esteem, all of that is umbrellaed in this soul journey with Chiron. And his symbol is a key. So it's the key to understanding yourself in this lifetime and what you're carrying with you, the layers. Chiron has his first big influence in your life, and it's a big window of time, but from 3 to 23. That is a huge window, but somewhere in the 3 to 23 range, humans as an experience have some kind of soul wound event. And this is what a retrograde like Chiron comes around and kind of just pushes on it, nudges on it a little bit and says, hey, do you want to look at me? Do you want to work with me? Do you want to try and muffle me? And I encourage you to allow your wounds to evolve into wisdom. And that's why I've blanketed this with the phrase wounds to wisdom. It can inform you in a way, in a more powerful way than you're used to. My Chiron's in Gemini in the 10th house. So when it comes to success and my ambition and my big picture goals, for the longest time I was terrified of success. And I also didn't feel like I was worthy of success. And that I had to unlock more of where that was coming from, which for me is central to losing my mom as when I was 3. See the range of Chiron, 3 to 23. Mine was right at 3, and that turned into a feeling of abandonment. And when it comes to work, the thought process in my early 20s, early to mid 20s was, well, if not that I was conscious about this way of thinking, but when I learned about Chiron, when I did talk to therapists, the unconscious belief system that I inherited from that experience was, well, if she didn't want me, why would anyone else? Why would I be worthy of having big goals and actually chasing them and achieving them if the person that's supposed to want you the most didn't even, she left me. So that's what Chiron retrograde invites you to do, to get that clarity and to say like, oh, well, that's not true though. That's not a true story. That is just what a 3-year-old's interpretation of an experience downloaded, right? And that was something that I carried with me. And then it was like, oh, so the wounds to wisdom in that was like, no, because this happened, I am now more inspired, more protected, more guided towards success, towards achieving my big goals, to allowing myself to see the big picture and to say like, yeah, I can do that. I need a plan. It's in the 10th house. It's Saturn. So I'm going to have to take my time and I'm going to have to put the proper building blocks in place. But that is supported because this event took place. And depending on how woo-woo you get, as a guide, I mean, my mom shows up all the time. And so, this an invitation to just allow yourself to unlock what's beneath the surface at a soul level. What do you feel called to resolve? Call to within yourself, a call to experience in this lifetime. So it's a lot. That's a biggie. And as far as news board items go, and then we'll get into the rest of the week, just so we get, we cover as much as we can. But the only news board items I have are my reading books are open this week, the 17th through the 21st, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I have already informed everyone on the reading request list. And so they have already got their slots, but now it is open season. So if you are someone who wants a reading and you want to do it this week, then you gotta send me a note. There's a link in the show notes for reading request. I will send you the scheduler as soon as you write me so that you can get your reading on the books. My books will close after this week and they'll reopen sometime in the fall. Okay, so this is your opportunity. And the only other thing I want to cover in Newsboard is a reiteration. This is a week where you need to be on the news train, just click that link in the show notes, please, and get on there because I'm gonna I want you to be informed with what the new moon invites you to do, with what the nodes of fate changing signs for the first time in a year and a half, what that means, what it means for where you've come and where you're going for the next year and a half. And then for the Venus retrograde, that retrograde station is going to lead us to the Venus star point on August 13th. So that's a whole nother thing that we'll talk about when we get closer to. But just putting it in your ear, we are going to have a Venus star point, and that is a powerful change of energy when it comes to love, money, desire, pleasure, relationships in general. Okay? She gets way more, her vibe, she turns into a morning star where she's known as a Venus Lucifer, light bearer. And yeah, that's a completely different energy than what we've had for the last 10 to 12 months. So we'll talk more about that. Sun entering Leo, that's another energetic shift. And then the Chiron retrograde, just where, I want you to know where that's taking place in your chart. There's the general of what this transit means, but then there is for your sun, moon, and rising signs, where that we get a little bit more detailed and where you can kind of just see like, oh, okay, this is where I'm kind of excavating stories around my wounds, my triggers, my traumas, my experiences as a young human from 3 to 23. Okay? Now, so that's it for the news board. Let's just briefly cover the moons and then give you a little bit more info about these major transits this week. Okay, so Monday the 17th, the moon is in Cancer. Of course, we have the new moon at 11:32 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Remember, all the times I give you in this podcast are Pacific, so make sure you adjust for your time zone. Then the moon on Tuesday, Wednesday, and a little bit of Thursday, the moon is in Leo. So when the moon is in Cancer, we have a focus on home, tenderness, softness, family, foundation. And then when the moon is in Leo, we switch into fun, adventure, joy, what I want versus what other people want, right? Like just really getting clear, being creative, being passionate, being bold, wearing our heart on our sleeves. Very different energy than Cancer. Then half of Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, most of Saturday, we have the moon in Virgo. So now fun is over. Time to go get your stuff together, get organized, do chores, get a to-do list together. Makes those days great days to get work done, to really be a taskmaster and just like bang it out. Like, oh, I need to clean. I need to go to Target. I need to run to Petco. I need to whatever your duties are. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, great days to plow through them. Even if you want to do a little like summertime cleanse, whether that's a juice, whether that is in your closet or underneath the bathroom cabinet or a junk drawer. This is all great stuff because Virgo loves to just clean house, and to clean things like that, that's like the perfect time to do all of that. Then late Saturday, Sunday, going into next Monday the 24th and even Tuesday the 25th, the moon is in Libra, where Virgo is a solo mission to get things done and to just work. The Libra moon says, okay, put the pen and paper down, put the dust cloth down, the Windex can go away now. Let's be a partnership. Let's be a union. Let's focus on aesthetic and good times and good food and good wine and just, let's get a little flirty. Virgo moons, hello, you're speaking to one, or one is speaking to you, can just be really, really task-oriented and need to clean and tidy as a way to process. Libra moon is like, no. I would like to be with partner, be with friend, be with relationship in general, and let our hair down. Let's dress up. Let's look nice, especially with the sun in Leo at that point. Playing dress up is like the way to go. Okay, so that's the vibe. Cancer, Leo, Virgo, and a little bit of Libra there at the end of the week. Cancer initiates. Leo is fixed and wants what it wants. Virgo is mutable, change, change, change. Libra, cardinal, go, go, go. That's the vibe of the overall vibe with the moon's energy this week. So now let me take you through these. Let me take you through the planetary action this week, okay? So let's just go day by day. On Monday, we have a Mercury square Jupiter. So keep in mind, Mercury's in Leo. The only danger we have with Mercury and Leo is just being selfish, self-oriented. Everything is what I want, and we don't take into consideration what someone else wants or needs. So Mercury has a square to Jupiter. Jupiter in Taurus is also fixed, wants what it wants to expand and grow how it wants. Now, so the two principles are coming at each other, and it could just be a lot. Like, oh my God, there's a lot that I want to do. There's a lot that I want to share, but there's too much on my plate. It's too much happening. So you might have to kind of prioritize. On Monday, Monday is just a wild day. The moon's making a lot of aspects. I'll cover that on A Daily Dose. If you're not on A Daily Dose of Stars, I encourage you. With the summer that we're going into, I encourage you to look into A Daily Dose of Stars. In the show notes, all the info you need. So Mercury-Jupiter square, it's just a lot of energy. It's a lot of activity. It's a lot of thinking of like, oh my gosh, I have this to do. Oh my gosh, I have this to do. So let me give you a little astro hack here. With a Mercury square Jupiter on the heels of a Virgo moon coming, whatever you need to get done on Monday, do that. But then just think, what can I move towards Thursday, Friday, Saturday? Because that Virgo moon is going to help you organize those tasks and get them done. Okay, so if Monday you find yourself like just overloaded, figure out what needs to be done ASAP and then move things towards Thursday, Friday, Saturday to get them done in an efficient way, because you'll have more time. If you give yourself Monday, Tuesday, you can maybe even start on Wednesday if you wanted. But that's a way to use like the energy that's coming, because Virgo moons are so good at being able to go bam, bam, bam. So there's a little astro hack for you. Now, Monday too, we have the Cancer new moon at 11:32 a.m., 24 degrees, 56 minutes. So you're going to want to find Cancer in your chart. Cancer, what houses or just house that Cancer rules in your chart. Where is the moon in your chart? And you'll want to look at 24 degrees. Anything between 22 and 26 is good for me. That's where that new moon is inviting you to manifest tenderness and warmth and comfort across all your relationships. Now, this new moon is coming with an opposition to Pluto, as that's an aspect that happens within 8 hours of the new moon. And so there's something zooming to consciousness with this new moon, right? New moons initiate a new story. We plant seeds for 2 weeks, and then 6 months we see what comes to harvest. So the next 2 weeks are potent for manifesting this opposition to Pluto. Shadows revealed around the home, the family, work can all come. It can feel like it's all being unearthed because Pluto's the underworld and he's exposing the shadow sides of Cancerian themes. Pluto's in Capricorn, meaning work, and Cancer is home, family, foundation. Foundation being emotional and financial. So there are some of you that will experience with this new moon opportunities, whether they're on the work front or on the home front. Maybe some folks out there get pregnancy, they find out that they're pregnant, or they find out that they have a pregnancy story beginning. Some people might get career opportunities and offers. That can come up too, because these things are coming to light. But I want you to take the new moon's energy and be proactive with it. So call in if you feel like you're just surrounded by stress and negativity. And this new moon invites you to call in the warmth, call in tenderness, call in softness. If you're running out there just too hard, no one can break through, no one can, you're just guarded and whatever. This is an invitation to be a little bit more vulnerable and to actually manifest that, because vulnerability is more strength than pretending to be stronger than you are. I'm going to be sending more on Cancer New Moon in your inbox, so don't worry. I'm going to break that down more. Then, Monday, the nodes of fate enter Aries and Libra. Now, this is a period of time from July 17th through January 11th, 2025. That big year and a half time span. North node in Aries, South node in Libra. This is global focus, gets more individualistic. Now, I want you to jump back in your brain to December 25th, 2004 through June 21st, 2006, because that's the last time that we had North Node Aries, South Node Libra. Again, December 25th, 2004, June 21st, 2006, that period of time. Now, an Aries North Node is self-focused. It's mastery of self, direction, setting your own compass, and bold, brave, fearless action is awarded. But I do a little disclaimer. That bold, fearless action is awarded over time. The North Node is we're not great. We kind of suck at it. So we have to try and try again. We are likely not going to get it right in the beginning, and that's fine. Eclipse seasons from here on out, we're going to have one more on the Taurus-Scorpio axis in October, November, but we will have our first eclipse with the Aries-Libra nodes in October, and we will be, or that might even be end of September, but come this fall, we'll have now, because the nodes set the eclipse stories. So now we're getting an idea here that the North Node is pushing us towards bold bravery, fearless action, and over time we will get it right. Just think back to 2004 to the end of 2004. So really 2005, 2006. Like, what were you doing? This theme is back up again, but if you could do it all different, knowing that, because here we are, now's your chance. This is your opportunity to do that story different 18, 19 years later. It's a big chance there, big opportunity. We've done the Aries North Node, but the Libra South Node, releasing relationship dynamics, obligations, or expectations that are holding you back in some way. And this is where I beg the question, and this is what globally, the question that we have to ask ourselves on a big scale. So, global consciousness, how can we be separate and together? But now that's also relevant towards us as individuals. Within relationship dynamics, how can we go after what we want? How can we take it upon ourselves to move and take action while allowing others to do the same? So you can be in partnership and have two completely different goals and momentums and directions, but how can you do that together? It's this separate but together energy, and that's what we're going to be working through for the next year and a half. Don't worry, you're not going to have it figured out overnight. It's not the nature of the nodes. They're learning curves. Now, Thursday, Sun trine Neptune, beauty, 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 beauty. That is dreams come true. That is just an awesome energy for dreaming about the future, planning for the future. What does it look like? What does it feel like? What are you doing? On the same day, though, we have a Mars-Saturn opposition. Now, this is disappointment. This is not getting what you want. This is anger. Mars is in Virgo, just trying to get things done. Saturn in Pisces has expectations. So this could also be a toxic dynamic, and there can be frustration and fights and anger with this kind of energy. So you want to just watch out for that on Thursday. That's not an either or kind of day. It's an and kind of day. Like dreams come true, and I'm also frustrated. You can very much have that very human experience on Thursday. On Friday, we have a Sun-Pluto opposition. Now, this is like a second touch from the new moon on Monday when we had the moon opposite Pluto. So we get a little preview of whatever that is, and then Friday, it zooms into focus. This Sun in Cancer, home family foundation story, Pluto in Capricorn, retrograde, work story, what do I want to achieve? So there you could see that from Monday's new moon, Friday there's a connection there between Monday, what comes to light on Monday, and what you do the follow-up on Friday. There's also a Mercury Chiron trine Friday night, late at night, so that also goes into Saturday. You just don't let self-doubt get the best of you. Mercury Chiron trine is exciting, and it's new, and it's forward motion, and you might feel like, I'm a little scared. I don't know. Can I do this? Yes, you can do this. You wouldn't be here if you couldn't. Saturday, I'm going to catch my breath because this is all going really fast. You might want to re-listen to this podcast a couple times. Saturday, Venus stations retrograde at 6:33 p.m. at 28 degrees, 36 minutes of Leo. So where's Venus in your chart? Where is Leo in your chart? Because Venus is going to be trekking through, talking to those planets, moving through those houses. The Sun enters Leo at 6:50 p.m., so both things happening simultaneously. Sun enters Leo, so of course, this period of time with the Venus retrograde is reclaiming your confidence, reclaiming passion, love, joy. This is basically like main character energy, getting yourself reconnected to the main character within you of like, I'm going to be bold. I'm going to play dress up. I'm going to host a themed party. I'm going to be fabulous. I'm going to be seen. So if you're single and you're trying to mingle, then you better try some things. You better try on some new clothes. But here's what I will say. Venus retrograde, 40 days of things to avoid. And I'm going to write this all up and send it to you. So you already know. Cosmic News Train. Avoid drastic relationship decisions. Dramatic haircuts, new tattoos. Venus is aesthetic, so aesthetic changes we want to make to ourselves. Just hold off on anything crazy. Avoid any major creative launches. Far away trips can get a little dicey during this time. Just take your time. Take your friggin' time. Sometimes with Venus retrograde, we can feel like things are dull. We can feel like we're stuck. We can be a little complacent. This is normal, but it's also temporary. So I'm trying to arm you now so you don't freak out during this patch of time. My little message here is go where you shine the most. You might discover that during Venus retrograde, relationships that kind of dulled your shine, kind of dimmed your glow, or were prevalent, and they could come back. Or those dynamics within present relationships come back, or they come up, and you kind of have to decide, like, I don't know if this isn't really adding to my shine or encouraging my glow. This is something else. You might experience, some toxic shit in relationships during Venus retrograde, and you just have to acknowledge it for what it is and move through it. It's 40 days. It only happens every 18 months, and it's necessary. So especially if you're feeling like you're stuck, that you have to know is temporary. And when it comes to relationships, this is what we need in order to decide, like, oh, here's how we can avoid this for the next 18 months, right? The solution to the stuckness is fill in the blank. It's what you're going to be exploring. And then, last but not least, on Sunday, Chiron stations retrograde at 5:42 a.m. Again, this is a period of time from July 23rd to December 27th, turning wounds to wisdom. Do not try and stifle whatever emotional experiences come your way. Whether they are excited by an external event or it is just something internally happening within you, Chiron is asking you to work with him in some capacity. And acknowledgement is first, but then taking necessary steps to unlock what's beneath the surface is the next step after that. Okay? Don't shy away from your soul, especially because this is your soul path. And healing lives within Chiron. Okay? There's even more that we could discuss, but yep. I'm just going to leave this at that because this is a big week. A lot going on. I will be in your inbox pretty often with notes about all of these things, but one by one in little bite-sized munches. So I'm going to trust that you're on the Cosmic News train because I don't want anybody yelling at me like, I didn't know. You know. Lots going on. Have a great week. If anybody's mean, don't forget, I called Saturn in Pisces the no toxic bitches era for a reason. Now Venus retrograde is throwing in her key in the ring. So if that happens to be part of your story, just reply with either a block or hashtag this is my hashtag no toxic bitch era. Goodbye. And on that note, have a great week. I'll see you soon. Bye. This is Graham Breitenstein, and you've been listening to This Week with Drunk Astrology. If you want to follow Drunk Astrology, head to Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and hit that follow button. And if you want to learn how to put astrology in motion for you, head to drunkastro.com and get on the insider list. If you haven't already, subscribe, rate, and review this podcast on Apple, Spotify, and Google platforms. Tune in next week for yet another opportunity to work in sync with the stars. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you soon.